Well, I was really excited. There was some really good news that the Detroit Red Wings signed Captain Dylan Larkin to an 8-year deal. As speculated, it would be around 8.5 to 9 million, ends up right in the middle, 8.7 million. Great news. And then this other news came out that I am absolutely confused about. I don't get it. What the hell? Like, but what is going on? What am I missing? Is there another part to this that I'm missing? There has to be another part to this, right? Why on earth, unless you're acquiring another piece, would you move Philip Roenick? What am I missing, guys? There must be some other news that's come out about this that I haven't seen. Why am I not happy about this? So first of all, very good news signing Dylan Larkin. You know, I think that was great news, and I was excited about that. He has been traded for the pick that Vancouver got from the New York Islanders. The first round pick. I don't get this. Like, Philip Roenick was a second round draft pick, developed in Detroit. He's only 26. He's like a 45, 50 point defenseman that can score 12 goals, 13 goals a year. At one point he was point a game, but like he's a right shot defenseman. What is going on? This guy on any team is a top 3 or 4. He's a top 3. I'm sorry. And most teams, like, you compare him, he's not poor defensively. Like, why would you move this guy? There's got to be something else going on. So I'm a little confused about this. There's got to be a second piece to this, because Philip Roenick at this point is worth more than a mid-round pick. Like, if New York Islanders make the playoffs, this is a bad deal. And even if they don't make the playoffs, this is a bad deal unless you get up with I get a lottery pick, but you're going to get a top 10 pick? Unless you're getting top 5. What? I don't get this. What is going on? Are they getting Jacob Chychrun? But Chychrun's a left side defenseman. Like, why would you care? Like, right now, the second pairing is anchored by Philip Roenick. He can play the power play. What is happening? I'm so confused about this. So, Leafs lost out on a deal with Columbus. What was the deal with Columbus? But I think, forgetting the Leafs for a second, I don't understand. I mean, Nedeljkovic and Vrana wrote their own ticket. What's the problem with Roenick? Like, Philip Roenick is a very good news story, I thought. Am I missing something? What's going on? Why would you move this guy? This is a valuable piece. I mean, he has been nothing but a solution in Detroit. I don't get this. Like, what's going on? Well, all right. So, I was excited about the first part to this, which, hey, this is what we were talking about many days here. He's definitely shown he's the best centerman in Detroit. He's the best. He's a really good captain. He's done a great job. He's got 57 points in 59 games. That's like 75, 80 point player. That's, that fits in nicely with where Mika Zibanejad is, Bo Horvat. So this is a good signing. But then this other news, I'm so confused by. Like, what am I missing? Is there another part to this deal? Then you see this other deal, and this guy was, who cares if he's RFA? That's the point. That's good. A first and a second round pick. So what? He was a second round pick that developed. This guy, what am I missing? There's something we don't understand. He's got 38 points in 60 games, and that's from a second pairing. Who cares if he can be a restricted free agent? Sign him. Like, to get a defenseman like this is very hard. Who cares? Like, this is what I say. Like, 5.5 is nothing. If you're qualifying him at 6.5, who cares? This guy's worth it. He's a 45, 50 point defenseman from the second pairing on the right side. You got a 1-2 punch with him and Seider. Who's on the right side now? What? Osterley? Not as good as him. I mean, most teams would kill. Are they thinking this guy's a $7-8 million defenseman because of his stats? There has to be, guys. This is blowing my mind. You go from great news about Larkin, and the same moment you have this wacky deal where this is not a guy I ever would have moved. Evanson is not even a right shot though, is he? Is he a left shot? So like what you had always projected was, you'd have like Sider and Ronick on the right, and you'd have Edmondson and Mata on the left, and then maybe you go get an upgrade like a Chikrin. And you have enough assets, you could have done something like that. So now they get a first and a second. You're not going to get a defenseman stepping into the NHL anytime soon. And this is not, in my opinion, a good draft for defensemen at all. It's not even a great draft, in my opinion. The top 5 are really good, and the top 10 and 11 are really pretty good. But you're talking forwards, and Edmondson, by all accounts, I don't get this. Well, that's fine, but what does that have to do with Philip Ronick? I mean, Tim Stützle is clearly proving he was the top draft pick in that draft, and Lucas Raymond's arguably the second best in his draft year. They're better than Byfield, they're better than Lafreniere, and they're better than pretty much anyone else. So Tim Stützle is an elite player that emerged and is showing he's elite. And then you got, Brady Tkachuk. Who do you have that's like Brady Tkachuk? Is that Philip Ronick? No, that's not a problem. I mean, Montreal passed on Brady Tkachuk to get Kotkaniemi, which is, dumb. Did they? and this is what I'm thinking. But again, Chikrin is a left shot defenseman. And if you're thinking, I'm going to play a left shot defenseman on the right side, this also does not make any sense. Now, we know Chikrin's contract is very favorable at 4.3 or 4.5. Hello, Miss Melissa. I'm so confused by this part of it. So if you're just joining, good news started off this whole broadcast with Dylan Larkin. Well, your friend just got a really good defenseman. And it's not like they gave up nothing, but they gave up, basically they traded Bo Horvat. Like, they traded Bo Horvat, get a first, and they flip it. And they get Philip Ronick. That's pretty damn good. I mean, if... So they're not even getting the Canucks first pick. They're getting the Islanders conditional first pick and a second. I mean, you're really going long term here. If anything, I thought you would have moved Bertuzzi, you would have moved Perron. You sign Wallman, you sign Mata, and you dump this guy. You just get why? Because he's a restricted free agent. He deserves what he's making and maybe more. I mean, that's a tough type of player to get. 8 years, I'll take it. Yes, for Dylan Larkin, that's an excellent deal. To give up Philip Ronick for this, I don't understand. So they trade a 4th pick and Philip Ronick for a first and a second, but it's New York Islanders first. So if New York Islanders make the playoffs, it's definitely not a lottery pick, right? I think it's lottery protected, that pick. So they basically got Philip Ronick and Anthony Beauvillier for Bo Horvat. And Beauvillier is scoring as much as Bo Horvat right now. What am I missing? This was not a problem. See a quadruple P. Well, they could do it. I mean, they have nothing. Hey, Intertap. So, we announced the deal for Dylan Larkin, which was really, really, really positive. No, they traded Philip Ronick. What is going on? I don't understand this. I'm actually very, very disappointed. So is there another deal in place to get Jeff Chikrin? Gavrikov already moved, but nobody, who saw that this guy was a problem? This is an excellent news story in Detroit, is Philip Ronick and his development and his play and his offense. And he's from the second pair. He's not a number 1 or, he might be a number 2, but he's a number 2 on the right side. So him and Sider are a great 1-2 punch, and that's gone. I don't trust that. That's weird. So there's got to be something else going on. JT Miller, I don't know. I don't think anybody wants that contract. That contract kicks in the summer. I mean, these were names that were logical to move. Why on earth, are you ripping out. This is a building block that you just ripped out. I don't get it. What am I missing? And Simon Edmondson is not ready for the NHL. Maybe he will be, but he's a left shot defenseman. So you could have had him with Edmondson, Olli Mata on the third pairing, and the top pairing. Wallman's played very well with Seider, and then you got a lot of guys you can plug into that fourth right shot spot. Maybe Wallander turns in. Is it a great return for a guy that's a 45, 50 point defenseman? He's got 38 points in 60 games. I mean, he's shown he's capable of getting 10, 12 goals. How many defensemen in the NHL are right shot defensemen from the second pairing, no less? He doesn't even have to play top pairing to get 12 goals. And he's pretty darn good defensively. I'm so confused by this. Well, that's a little weird. So the good news part, obviously, we thought maybe they would get this done. They have gotten it done. I figured Philip Hronek was a building block for them. I mean, they're obviously not I don't think they're making the playoffs. It seems pretty obvious. I mean, this would have been the move I thought would have been made. He's been playing decent lately. It would help his value. He's unrestricted, right? So you've got to sign him, I think. I don't think he's restricted, Bertuzzi, is he? He would have to be signed. And yet here we are. We're talking about, but it's the New York Islanders first. It's not the Vancouver Canucks first. So this came over to Vancouver in the Bo Horvat trade. So they get Beauvillier and Hronek for Bo Horvat. And Beauvillier is scoring as much as Bo Horvat right now. If you go look, he's like doing very well. He was obviously buried in New York. He's a smart, fast player. He fits the mold of what Jim Rutherford had in Pittsburgh, where you'd have these guys that other people kind of overlooked, and they're quick, they're on the puck, and they can score. And so he's doing pretty damn good here. So this was the big news, but then I'm like in kind of shock of this news to get a first and the New York Islanders first. So they acquired a conditional first pick. I don't get why it's conditional. What is the condition? Their first pick could move to the 2024 draft. So is that the condition? And they get a second round pick no matter what this year. And then they gave up a fourth, which is not a big deal. But to get a 25-year-old defenseman, still restricted, he was a second round pick, and he's blossomed, frankly. He's got 38 points in 60 games, 156 points in 305 NHL games. So what if he's restricted? That's good. Confused. Very, very confused by this. So there's got to be something else. Why? He's not even played a full season, but maybe he gets 9, 8. Maybe it's the same. I'm not sure. Like, he was on pace for like 40, 45 goals, right? But he's hurt. So I don't know. That always plays into it. If they're gambling, like, what do they have to lose by signing him to 10? They still have restricted rights on that guy. What's he gonna do? Ask to be traded? Okay. This one is blowing my mind. I don't understand this. Is there another piece to it? I'm absolutely in shock. Well, somebody explain it to me because I don't get it. I'm really, really surprised at that part. Yeah. So, like, they basically get a first either this year or next year. I don't know what the condition is. Is that the lower of if New York Islanders make the playoffs, then it's next year? I don't know what the deal is. I'm so like, who would not want Philip Hronek on their team? If that's a second, like if that's your number 3, a lot of teams love that guy as their number 2 guy. Am I wrong? He's hard to play against. He's a good skater. He's got a good shot. He's good offensively. You can play him on the power play. He's capable of penalty killing. Like, There's got to be something. Like what? But what? The only guy that's out there is Chikrin. But how is that a replacement? He's a left shot. That yeah, he can play the right side. Why would you do that? You don't want to permanently slot an NHL guy on the right side. And Chikrin's contract is cheap. It's cheaper than Philip Roenick. You could have both easily. They have a ton of cap space. And now you're going to get what? A mid-level first. Let's say the Islanders make the playoffs and it gets worse, right? If they make it past round 1, and a second pick. And you gave up a fourth, which not the end of the world. Wow. Yeah, for sure. What am I missing? Jeez. All right, guys, the warm-up show is going to start. I'm going to wrap this up. I just wanted to come up with the breaking news. I was all excited, and now I'm like really, really not so excited. So please join the other broadcast. I don't want to steal the thunder from Coach and from Intertap. I'm going to wrap this up, and please join the other one. It's got to be something that happens. All right, guys, I will try to join you on the other broadcast, and maybe we'll talk more there.